Let us all remember that we are in the holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Spirit of the living God, we join our minds and hearts in prayer and celebration. We celebrate your essence within each of us. We celebrate the love which connects us. We celebrate the joy of togetherness. Lastly, we celebrate the support extended for the success of our planned activities. Today, we reach out and bless every person who is attending this family activity. We embrace each other like the members of a big family, our beloved institution, St. Mary's College of May Kawayan. We lift up to you our prayer, Lord. Bless our hearts, may it be filled to the brim with love, that it may overflow and we may share it with others. You assured us not to be afraid. Strengthen our faith, Lord, as we call up unto you. Please shine your light upon our families at home and in school. Give us strength to overcome all the difficulties that we are dealing with now and protect us against any problems we may encounter, especially in this time of pandemic. In all our shortcomings, forgive us. We express our total dependence on you, our God. May you hear us in the mighty name of Jesus and through the intercession of Mother Mary and Venerable Ignatia. Amen. Most Sacred Heart of Jesus, Immaculate Heart of Mary, Saint Joseph, Saint Ignatius of Loyola, Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Lorenzo Ruiz, Saint Pedro Calungsod, Venerable Ignatia del Espiritu Santo. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Taong biyaya. Salamat Panginoon sa iyong punla. Misyong kaloob sa aming puso, aming sarili ay aming handog, laging tapat at laging tugon. Naririto handa kami, Panginoon. Kami hahayo sa iba't ibang dako, hatid ang iyong salita at paglilingkod. Inang Maria, ang siyang gabay namit lugod, lalaganap alab ng iyong misyon. Daang taong biyaya. Salamat Panginoon sa iyong punla. Misyong kaloob sa aming puso, aming sarili ay aming handog, laging tapat at laging tugon. Naririto handa kami, Panginoon. Ang mga kaloob na aming alay sa mundo, katarungan, kabanalan, kapayapaan. Sa senyal na ito maniniwala ang mundo, pagmamahal namin sa bawat tao. Ang taong biyaya. Salamat, salamat Panginoon. Ang taong biyaya. Salamat Panginoon sa iyong punla. Misyong kaloob sa aming puso, aming sarili ay aming handog, laging tapat at laging tugon. Naririto handa kami, Panginoon. Naririto handa kami, Panginoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5. One, two, three, four, five. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna be a buzz like I had last week. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really bag you, my lord. To me, flirting is just like a sport. Anything fly, it's all good. Let me jump in, please sing in the trumpet. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. Mambo number 5. Jump up and down and move it all around. Shake your hand to the sound, put your hands on the ground. Take one step left and one step right. One to the front and one to the side. Clap your hands once and clap your hands twice. And if it looks like this, then you're doing it. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. Trumpet. Mambo number 5. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man. I do all to fall in love with a girl like you. You can't run, you can't hide. You and me gonna touch the sky.
Ang kasiyahan ng tunay na
Haharapin natin
Hi, a good day everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me today in this very special program. Let me introduce myself. I am Miss Hannah Wendam. Just a little bit of background about me. I've been working with children at the guidance office for quite some time. Mostly young elementary students, yung mga bulinggit, yung mga maliliit, diba? But I also handled adolescents such as high schoolers, such as yung mga batang nagdadala niya, nagdidinata. So, those are some of the things about me, but this day is not about me. Kasi, di ba, na-invite lang naman ako. This day is about you rather, about you and also your family, especially, most especially, the young learners you have at home. So for today, we will be talking about ways we can show, ways we can give support to our learners on their online education, or even if not in their online classes, even in other things that they are going through. So let us start. Ayan. So as you can see here in the screen, I have a scale. So one thing we can do first, we can do first is to ask how they are doing. So first, let us ask them, how are you doing? If your learners or if your child is right there with you can show them this picture and ask, on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you doing with your online classes? So, dito sa scale natin, makikita natin, number 1 is the lowest, while number 10 is the highest. Number 1 is the lowest with the saddest face, while number 10 is the highest with the happiest face. So, give them time to think and ponder ano nga ba sa mga numbers na yan nagpo-fall yung feelings nila about their online classes. So, if they're done, yan, let us see if their answers are on number 8, number 9, or number 10, it could mean that they are just doing fine. So maybe they are encountering some challenges, maybe they are having some little problems, however, they are coming through and they can manage it. Now, if their answers are more at the middle, yun, nasa gitna, medyo nasa gitna, like 5, 6, or 7, it could mean that they are struggling, okay? There are good things about their online classes, but there are also bad things about their online classes, but still they are managing it. So, kinakaya naman, carry pa. Now, if their answer is below 5, yun yung nasa number 4, 3, 2, or 1, it could mean that they might need extra help. They might need pause or break from their studies and homeworks. Baka kailangan ng pahinga. It's also possible that they feel that way because they are overwhelmed sa volume ng mga tasks na ginagawa nila. Kasi 'di ba, as of the moment, yan, as we know, um, currently in the school year 2020 to 2021, learners are having what we call distance learning. Distance learning or online learning or sa iba na may modular learning. Kaya ngayon, lectures are through video calls just like this, diba? Virtual yung ating interaction. They have video conferences like Google Meet, Zoom, tapos yung sa iba naman, MS Teams. And because of that, their quizzes are also online. But, ayan, just because it is online doesn't mean that it is easier. Yan, parang tongue twister, no? So, they might have more assignments, more tasks, more projects that they need to do. Kasi nga, may limit lang yung pwedeng ipagawa sa online classroom. There are tasks the teacher cannot give them, hindi maipapagawa ni teacher at di magagawa ng mga estudyante through video call, kaya kailangan ipa-assignment. So we are not yet certain when this will end, meaning the pandemic, when this pandemic will end, di ba? But for the next school year, we could expect the possibility of online classes. Baka may online class pa rin, baka may distance learning pa rin. Now, this is not permanent, diba? But we are not discounting the possibility that it could still continue. Baka mas maraming schools na mag-open ng options for distance learning na hindi na kailangan pumunta sa eskwelahan. At dahil nga online, diba, sabi natin kanina online siya, learners are at risk of different conditions. Meron tayong tinatawag na Zoom fatigue or meeting fatigue. That is the case when they feel very tired, very exhausted from too much exposure to video conferences. Kaya after a long day, some of them kahit nakaupo lang, nakatapat sa computer or sa laptop, napapagod pa rin. Ang tawag natin doon, Zoom fatigue or meeting fatigue. So kasama dyan dahil nga maraming assignment, maraming pinapagawa, okay? So meron tayong posibleng makaramdam sila ng burnout, posibleng makaramdam sila ng stress from accomplishing their tasks. And because of all those things, no, because of that, now, more than ever, learners need all the support that they could get, all the support that they could get to get through the school year. Amidst the pandemic that is happening right now, at di natin alam kung kailan mo matatapos, sana soon, okay? And the financial crisis, economic crisis, diba? And all the other happenings in our country, napakaraming nangyayari, napakaraming ganap, diba? Mga 100. Ay, baka mas marami pa. So, paano nga ba tayo makakatulong? What are the things that we can do? Ayan. So, we as family members who are living with them, who are within the family, within our own houses, what we can do to help our learners in this different kind of learning is to support them. Now, according to several studies and several researches, several findings, diba, napakarami na pong pag-aaral yung nagsasabi that when when learners feel that they are supported by family members, when they are supported by their parents, they perform well in their academics. No? So, mas nakakapag-perform sila ng mas maganda, much better. Bakit? Mas namomotivate sila, mas naging committed sila sa goals nila. Kung gusto nilang magkaroon ng high scores, kung gusto nilang magkaroon ng matataas na grade, at the end of the school year, mas nakakapit sila doon because they feel supported in comparison to those other learners who do not feel the same, who do not feel that they are supported. And I think you can say naman, di ba, kahit sa ibang bagay, we do better when we feel supported, when we feel that there are people rooting for us, cheering for us. No? So, how can we show our support? Paano ba natin mapaparamdam yun? We show our love. And that will be the focus of our talk for today. Ayan. So, yung nakikita yung picture, ayan. So, there is a counselor, si Dr. Gary Chapman. And si Dr. Gary Chapman, he is a counselor who has written several books na rin, particularly about 5 love languages. Now, according to him, there are different ways on how we can give and receive love. And just like as adults, diba? Children also have their own love language. They have their own way of how to feel love and how to express their love. So we can think of love languages as actual languages. Halimbawa, there are two persons, ikaw, tapos yung kasama mo. this other person only speaks English. So, English lang yung salita niya, hindi siya nakakasalita ng Filipino. Tapos, ikaw naman, Filipino lang yung salita mo, Filipino lang, at hindi ka nakakaintindi ng ibang language. So, whatever you try to say, whatever you try to tell that person does not understand. Why? Because he cannot understand you. At the same time, no matter what that person tells you, they also cannot understand you because you do not have the same language. Since you can meet each other's languages, diba? You cannot understand anything, and it will be very challenging. But on the other side, if you know each other's language, okay, and you choose to speak that language, Filipino yung salita ko, pero nakipag-communicate ako into English, inaral ko at nakipag-communicate ako into English, maiintindihan niya yung gusto kong sabihin. At the same time, kung siya naman, English lang yung salita niya, but he tried to speak in Filipino and communicate with me in Filipino, maiintindihan ko rin siya. So just like that, love languages, when we understand the power of this love languages, especially in the context of children, diba, of our learners, it will make such an impact on how we give and how we receive love. Kasi nagkakatugma tayo, nagkakaintindihan tayo dun sa love language natin. So for today, you will hear about simple ways to bond with your children, with your learners, using their very own love language. So, identify natin ano nga ba yung love language nila. At the same time, paano ba natin ito ma-express? Now, keep in mind that they need to feel and also experience a clear and tangible expression of your love. If you want to feel their love, they need to have it very clear, no? Yung very obvious. Okay, so and the best way to do this one, to show them, is to use their very own love language. So meron tayong 5. We have words of affirmation, we have gifts, then physical touch, um, acts of service, and then lastly, quality time. So iisa-isahin natin ang mga ito. Okay. Ayan. So first is words of affirmation. Paano natin malalaman na ito yung love language ng isang bata? If your child is highly motivated by your words of encouragement, this could be their love language. Gusto nilang sinasabihin sila ng ang galing-galing mo, diba? Gusto nilang sinasabihin sila ng tama yung ginawa mo, ang cute mo naman ngayong araw, bagay sa yung suot mo. So kapag mga ganun, praises, they want praises, gusto nila, pinupuri sila, sinasabihan ng magagandang bagay tungkol sa sarili nila. Okay, they tend to feed off from those compliments, those validation, especially if it's coming from others. At the same time, gusto rin nila na naririnig ng ibang tao kapag pinupuri sila. So, pag mayroong positibo silang ginawa, gusto nila naririnig din ng iba na pinupuri sila. So, compliments, praises, these things, they are like fuel to their soul. So, ano nga ba yung pwedeng gawin kung ito yung kanilang love language? Okay? So, one thing that you can do, you can write some love notes or encouraging notes and post it around the house for them to find and see. You can send them messages, texts, telling them how awesome they are, telling them how you feel about them, okay? But the key there is being specific and genuine. Okay, syempre dun tayo dun sa totoo. And believe it or not, they can say if binobola mo lang sila. They can say if labas lang siya sa ilong. So always be ready with something good or something positive to say, especially when they are with their friends, when they are with their siblings, or with other people. And then, kung ibang tao naman yung kausap mo, you can say positive things about them and let them overhear it. May sasabihin kang maganda tungkol sa kanila, tapos maririnig nila. So, ayun, um, The key there here is that they feel loved, they feel supported when you do it verbally, when you do it vocally. Doon nila mas nararamdaman. So aside from telling them you did a good job, ang galing mo, very good ka dyan, here are some other things that you can do, you can say rather, to compliment them and also their hard work. So ayan, you've worked so hard on that. Talagang pinaghirapan mo yan, di ba? That was tough, but you stuck with it. What amazing thing is next? Thank you for helping with blank kung saan mang bagay sila tumulong. I am so proud of you. I like this because tapos kung ano yung particular thing na nagustuhan mo and then I knew you could do it. Makes them feel that you always believe in them. So, ayan. So, ayun. Number one natin is words of affirmation. Number two naman natin ay, okay, ayan. So, gifts. Ayan pala. Sorry. Okay, so gifts. So there are learners that feel love when they receive gifts. Ito naman yung love language nila. They see receiving gifts as a very special moment. Para sa kanila, malaking bagay yun kapag may binigay kang kahit ano para sa kanila. So, special occasions like birthdays, Christmas, natatandaan nila kung sino yung nagbigay ng regalo. Diba? Naaalala nila kung sino. Tapos, minsan kapag galing sila sa labas, or kung saan sila gumala, they will often collect and store random stuff like pebbles, flowers, meron silang napulot na ganito or ganyan. Okay, mahilig sila sa souvenir para may nagpapaalala sila kung saan sila nanggaling. Tapos, whatever their friends give them, even the littlest things, no, pinakamaliliit na bagay, they still keep it. No? So, tinitreasure nila yon. Siguro makikount din natin dito yung mga batang pagka umalis ka, nag, ah, laging nagsasabi na pahingi ng pasalubong, di ba? Na pag uwi mo, meron kang dadalhin para sa kanila. Hindi naman kaya laging nagpapabili ng kung ano, nag-add to cart ng add to cart sa Shopee, sa Lazada, di ba? Okay, so, those kind of things. Now, if they are like this, so kung ito yung love language nila, ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin in accordance to this love language? So first, you can give unique and meaningful gifts. So yung mga bagay na merong meaning, mga bagay na merong deeper significance, bakit mo binigay sa kanila? So simple things like pen, okay? You're giving them pen, ito ay pen para sa'yo, for you to write your own future. Okay? So, merong ganong hanash, no? So, merong ganong meaning. Kasi they also think of that. It doesn't matter how big or how small is the gift, as long as it's a token that you are giving them something. So, aside from that, and you can also help them to make gifts in holiday seasons kasi as much as they like receiving gifts, they also like giving them to others. So, hindi na sila tumatanggap, gusto nila, nagbibigay din sila. So, aside from that, okay, so when you give them gifts, you can make it a different experience. Kunwari, kailangan pa nilang hanapin, treasure hunt. O di kaya may mga clues na kailangan isolve para mag-arrive dun sa mismong reward. Diba? And then, um, also, if you go to other places, kunwari meron kang lakad, meron kang lugar na napuntahan, you can also use that opportunity to take home something. Kunwari, meron kayong napulot na isang pebble, meron kayong napulot or nakitang bulaklak. And then, pag uwi natin, ibibigay natin sa kanila and tell them that when you saw it, it reminded you of them. So, kasi diba, madalas sila yung nag-uuwi ng kung ano-anong bagay. So, this time, we could repay them back with that kind of experience that we always get from them. So, aside from that, ayan, you can also give them personalized items. Yung mga simple things like comb, suklay, wallet, or tumbler or mug yung merong pangalan nila because it makes them feel that they are special and it is really for them because their name is on it. So also if pwede namang hindi naman magbigay, 'di ba? Hindi magbigay ng kung ano, pero help them to make spaces, 'di ba? Mga lalagyanan, containers for their little things. Yung boxes, containers, baskets, or cabinets para lagyan ng mga kung ano-anong bagay na tinatago nila. So, 'di ba sa Facebook nakikita natin yung kapag matataas yung grades, merong reward na ganito, merong token na ganito. So, they would really much appreciate that. Another, so that's number two. Number three is act, act of service. So, sa mga ganitong bata naman, paano naman natin masasabi na ito yung love language nila? So, for act of service, this kind of children, this kind of learners always want to help and will even try to take over things. 'Di ba? Kunwari sasabihin, sige ako na lang po yung maghuhugas ng plato. Sige ako na lang po yung magluluto. Kaya magtutupi ng mga damit. Ayan. So gusto nila na tumutulong sila because through that actions, they show and they believe that it is an act of love. Gusto tumulong, gusto mag-exert ng effort because they think it will make you happy. So for them, doing something for someone else is an act of love. So, minsan maghahanap sila ng mga bagay na pwedeng gawin. Ako na lang po yung magaganito, ako na lang po yung magaganyan. And they will even feel proud after doing it. They will feel accomplished after doing that thing. So, if they are already like that, diba? Even if they are still young, when you give your appreciation for the things that they do, know that it will come a long way, no? It will go a long way rather. So naturally, when they grow up, they will also look for other ways to help other people. So kapag act of service yung love language nila, how can we show our love to them in the same manner? So you can give them special responsibilities that they personally enjoy, yung mga gusto nilang ginagawa. Kasi sila nga, personally, gusto nilang tumutulong. So, you can assign them to cook, diba? Sila yung magluluto or tutulong magluto. Sila yung magpapaligo sa aso. Sila yung magdidilig sa halaman. So, mga ganong klase ng gawain yung na-enjoy nila. And then, pagka nagawa na nila yon, you can also help them or ask them to have feedback on the process. So, sabihan mo sila na I really appreciated what you did. I really like what you've done. Diba? You have been a great help to me or to other people. So, ayun po. Those are some of the examples. Okay? So, ayan. You can also create opportunities to show kindness to other people together since gusto nga nila na sila ay tumutulong, then you can also use that as an opportunity para kayong dalawa mismo at ma-witness niya na ikaw gusto mo rin na tumutulong. So together, you can do an act of kindness to other people. And then, aside from that, so sila dahil gusto nilang tumutulong, you can also pay back by doing some of their chores. Kunwari, sila yung naka-assign na magluto, sila yung naka-assign na maghugas ng plato. Then one time, you can ask them or you can tell them na, sige, ako muna mag-take over sa task mo. Ako muna yung gagawa sa gawain mo. So, such things as that, they would really appreciate it. And if they want to help, please let them help. Even if they are doing it differently, di ba? Magtutupi kaso di masyadong maayos. Yeah, let them help, no? Let them do the things that they enjoy, that they feel is doing something that is helpful to others, no? Helpful inside the house. So kapag meron silang sirang gamit, broken toy, or broken clothes, broken gadget, you can help them by fixing it. If they have a favorite meal, you can cook it for them as a surprise. Basta ang kailangan lang natin tandaan dito, when their love language is act of service, they feel love when you do something for them. They feel special when you exert an effort for them. So, ayun yung pinaka-essence niya. Okay, so that's number three. Number four is physical touch. So, pag physical touch naman, ayan, from the word itself, yung mga ganitong klase ng learners or children, they are very touchy, very clingy, di ba? Very clingy, kahit napakainit, dikit ng dikit. Hulas ka na sa pawis, pero nakakapit pa rin siya sa'yo. So, this kind of children doesn't seem to want to leave your side. Ayaw nilang mapalayo kayo sa kanila. So, pwedeng laging hinahawakan yung kamay nyo, ayan, laging sumasandal, laging yumayakap, okay? Tapos, gusto nila yung nagsasnuggle, diba? Nagsasnuggle close to you. And sometimes, 'di ba, if you reject their request kapag lumayo tayo sa kanila or pinagbawalan natin sila, they might feel that they themselves personally have been rejected. So, medyo they take it personally when you deny them with that. So, for this type of love language, ano nga ba yung behaviors or actions that you can do that will reciprocate this kind of language? So, one, when you watch your favorite TV show or when you read a book, you can do it by sitting closely to one another. So, pwedeng magkatabi kayo habang nanonood, habang nagbabasa, habang naglalaro. And then, you can also create your own one-of-a-kind special handshake. So, di ba, uso ngayon yung handshake, may sarili kayong manner, paano magbatian. You can do that by having your own handshake. And then after a long day, no, draining day, they are tired, you can give them a long hug, one that lasts for some extra moments, di ba? Okay, so they feel that you are holding them close to your heart. Okay, and when you play games, you can include games that as physical contact tulad ng, ayan, thumb wrestling, di ba? Ayan, so thumb wrestling, you can do that. Games na mayroong physical contact. But the most simple, the simplest of all these things, yung simple pat on the head, pat on the shoulder, pat on the back, na tatapikin sa likod and tell them that you are just here, are doing great. So for them, kahit ayun lang, it's already something that they feel inside themselves that you love them. So ayun lang siya. Anything, any action, any effort that makes them feel you physically close to them, makes them feel your warmth, makes them feel your presence, will surely make them feel that you love them. So ayun yung kanila, more on physical touch. So that is number four. Okay, and then lastly, number five is quality time. So dito pa lang, ayan, time. What they need is attention. So paano natin masasabi na ganito yung love language ng isang bata? So if this is their love language, they will frequently ask you to spend time with them. Kahit wala kayong ginagawa, sasamahan nyo lang sila. Kahit hindi naman kayo malapit, basta andyan kayo para sa kanila. So even if magdamag na kayo or maghapon, di ba, buong araw, buong linggo, na kayong magkasama, gusto nila, andyan pa rin kayo lagi para sa kanila. So, kapag diningon kayo, tuwing diningon kayo, andyan sila, nag-o-observe din sa ginagawa nyo. Pag gumagawa kayo ng trabaho, ayun, nakatingin lang sila. Okay? Nag-o-observe lang. Okay? So, ayun, what they want is your attention. So, yun yung kanilang love language. They want your time. They want your attention. And because of that, diba, if they cannot get your attention in those things, then they might be getting that kind of attention sa ibang bagay or from other people or from somewhere else. And we do not want that to happen kasi that is where negative attention can come in, lalo na sa social media. gagawa ng ibang bagay para mapansin ng iba. So aside from that, they want your attention. Ayan. So they will also ask to come along with you kapag aalis kayo. Kunwari, meron lang naman kayong kukunin, meron lang pupuntahan, meron lang dadaanan, gusto nila sasama. So sasama raw sila. They will go with you. Kapag ikaw ay naligo, katapos naligo, 'di ba? Tatanungin ka kagad kung saan ka pupunta because they want to be always come along with you. So, kahit wala naman kayong gagawin, wala naman kayong pag-uusapan, gusto nila, ayan, you still have time for them. So, nakaka-bonding nila kayo. So, for this kind of love language, ano nga ba yung mga gandang activities na pwedeng gawin? You can have a regularly scheduled date time or date day, kunwari every Friday night, kunwari every Saturday night. You will play games together, or you will watch movies, or magkukwentuhan kayo. So, those kinds of things, diba? It's already meaningful for them because you give time for them. You can also do your chores together, no? Sabay kayong maglilinis, sabay maglalaba or magluto, or magwater ng plants. So those kinds of things, they are already meaningful for them. Kasi nga, your time is with them. So another, kapag ka mga young learners, mga maliliit, you can ask them if you can also play with them, play their toys with you. Diba, maglalaro kayo. Pero kung malalaki na sila, diba, matanda na, high school, ganyan, you can ask them to watch favorite K-dramas together, mga gusto niya pinapanood na TV series, o di kaya magkwentuhan lang tungkol sa, ano ba, kapitbahay, tungkol sa mga friends nila, about your family, or about anything. So, ayun, another, you can rearrange your house together, sabay niyong ayusin, mag-general cleaning, magluto ng kung ano, okay? But with all this, the point is to give them your undivided attention. No, so kasama nyo sila at napapansin mo sila. So aside from that, okay, since distance learning nga sila, online classes as of the moment is still ongoing, and your children might be experiencing longer screen time, laging nakatapat sa gadget, sa screen, sa cellphone. Okay, so much better kung yung activities na gagawin nyo is offline or screen-free. So, kasama dyan yung mga pwede nyo gawin after class or during the weekends and play board games like Scrabble, Snakes and Ladders, Jigsaw. So, aside from bonding moment, it's also an opportunity to support their critical thinking skills. Aside from that, ayan, baking or cooking. So, exciting siya para sa mga high school students. And then, madali naman siya para sa mga little kids kasi they just need to follow instructions. So, dito, syempre yung math skills, pag nagme-measure, motor skills, yan na-engage. Kaya, kung hindi pa kayo nakakagawa ng dalgona coffee since last year, hindi nyo pa rin natatry yung ube cheese pandesal, okay? Don't worry, you still have a lot of time to try these things with them. So, pwedeng-pwede nyo pa gawin. Ayan, aside from that, okay, take something apart, magbaklas, magbuting-ting, pero make sure na yung mga i-disassemble natin ay mga lumang bagay. So, it can be an old flashlight, old watch, old toy, old gadget, old radio, o kahit anong hindi na gagamitin, no? You can use that time to take it apart together and inspect those things. Okay, let it be an opportunity of learning adventure for the both of you. So, yan, at least meron kayong nagagawa ng magkasama. Pero, ayun nga, make sure na din siya gagamitin kasi pag di na natin kaya ibalik, no, don't worry too much about it. Kasi nga, di naman gagamitin. Aside from that, yan, kung if you have pen and paper, you can also draw your dream houses. and talk about it, talk about your wishes, ano ba yung gusto nila sa isang bahay, ano yung goals nila in the future, ano yung mga wishes nila. So, you can talk about those things. Okay? It's an opportunity for you to also know more about each other. Then you can also take a look at old photographs. So kung meron kayong mga naitatagong lumang pictures, you can show it to them and tell them your experiences, family traditions, your family or relatives, diba, your past experiences, ano yung mga natutunan mo dati, ano yung mga bagay na namimiss mo. So, sharing experience, pwede rin. At para naman sa mga plantita or plantita, and then you can also have planting seedlings. So, mga gardening project, magtatanim ng munggo, magtatanim ng kamatis, di ba? So, aside from it will help them nurture an interest in botany, can also help them to be more aware of the environment. Okay? And just make sure na hindi tayo masyadong lalabas, diba? Kasi yan, MECQ pa rin tayo. So, ayun. So, those are some of the things. Ayan. Balikan natin. So, we have words of affirmation, language of love. Dito, they feel love if you do it, you say it verbally, through words, sinasabi nyo. Next, gifts, they feel love when they receive something. So it doesn't matter how expensive it is, how big or how small it is, when they receive something, they feel love. Number three is physical touch. So for number three, they feel love when you hug them, when you are close to them, okay, when you embrace them, okay, that's when they feel that they are loved. Number four, okay, number four is act of service. They feel love naman when you do something for them, when you exert an effort for them. Okay? And then lastly is number five, quality time. When you give your undivided attention, when you give your um time for them, ayun, nafe-feel nila that you truly love them. So from all these things, I hope you were able to identify which among this is your learner's love language. So aside from love language ng learners nyo, maybe you can also identify, I hope, your very own love language. Kayo mismo, paano nyo ba nafe-feel na loved kayo, na supported kayo, di ba? Kasi it's also good to know your very own love language para malaman din ng ibang tao. And as you focus on your child's love language, you will hopefully find out that they really respond as they feel especially loved. Kasi nagmamatch kayo, no? So nagkakasundo kayo dun sa love language na gusto nilang matanggap at kung paano mo ito ini-express sa kanila. But remember, even if one love language is particular with them, kung isa man dito yung talagang very particular with them, it is still important that we show them your love in all these five different ways. Okay, so, ayun, kanina pa natin pinag-uusapan yung love language, di ba? Madalas nakikita natin sa mga teleserye, sa mga movies, ganyan, napapanood natin yung eksenang mayaman na bata, a rich kid, di ba? Binibigay ng parents niya sa kanya lahat ng gifts, lahat ng bagong gadgets, mga magagarang damit, at limpak-limpak na salapi. Pero, sa kabila ng lahat ng yun, sinasabi pa rin ng bata na hindi niyo ako mahal, wala kayong panahon para sa akin, hindi niyo ako totoong mahal, gusto niyo lang na magtrabaho, ganyan. Okay, tapos mag-walk out, and maglalayas. Ba, yun yung mga usual na plot sa mga teleserye. But now, we understand that maybe it's because they don't feel love because it is not their language. Baka hindi nila na-appreciate yung ginagawa nyo kahit gaano pa ka-noble yun, diba? Kahit gaano pa ka-effort yun, kasi hindi magka-match yung love language na meron sila. Na maybe quality time pala yung love language nila, mas nafe-feel nila yung love ng parents nila, yung support ng parents nila, if they spend time with them. Okay, kasi since a lot of parents need to work, di ba? To earn money for the family. Baka yun pala yung kailangan ng bata. Or sa iba naman, they will receive praises, compliments, ang galing-galing ng bata, di ba? Marami kang awards, very good ka. Pero ang kailangan pala nila is physical touch. They want to feel your hug. They want to feel your high five, di ba? Up here, they want to feel your embrace or tatapikin ka nila. So, physical touch pala yung love language nila. So, possible na ganon. Kaya mahalaga that we know which one is the best way. We know which one is the best way we can support them, and we can show it when we show them the love language that they need. So, mahalaga na alam nila na mahal natin sila sa tamang paraan. Okay? So, before I end this talk, ay medyo maingay sa labas. Okay? There is just one thing that I would like to leave you. Ayan. So, one thing that is important is for you to also take care of yourself. Sabi nga, you cannot give what you do not have. And as much as you want to give all the love that you can give all the support you want your family members to have, you cannot do that if you yourself is tired. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. So do not forget also to take care of yourself so that you can also take care of others. So that's it. Once again, hi, this is Miss Hannah, and I hope you learned something. And thank you very much for your time.
Haharapin natin.
Great day to the St. Mary's College of Maykawayan, Bulacan. This is Ilsa Reyes. Kumusta po kayong lahat? Maganda po yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong umaga. We're going to discuss about helping our young people deal with stress. Marami tayong pinagdaraanan these days, lalong-lalo na po dahil sa COVID at kailangan ay magtyaga-tyaga po talaga tayo, no? So right now, I'm going to share with you my slides regarding this particular talk, dealing with stress, and we would like to help our young people, also ourselves, regarding how to overcome stress. Let's begin. Helping our youth deal with stress. Nowadays, you parents, at ako rin po, lumalabas para bumili ng mga essentials natin, although we try to do this online as much as we can. Pero our young people, you are still there in the house for safety purposes, at kahit naman kaming mga lumalabas, kailangan naming mag-ingat ng lubos. Anyhow, usually, when we go out, we are subjected to what is called a temperature check. And this time, we will do a temperature check emotionally, psychologically, so even our young people can do this with us. Let's do the exercise together. I will be showing you a list of adjectives, and look into yourselves, give yourself a particular score regarding how you feel and if you can relate with this specific emotion. So from a scale of 0 to 10, 0 would be the lowest, 10 would be the highest. Please rate yourself. Let's start with calm. Are you feeling calm? And from 0 to 10, what is the score that you give yourself? Next, are you feeling agitated? If so, from 0 to 10, ano po ang score na binibigay nyo sa inyong sarili? Feeling afraid? If you are feeling afraid, then just accept it and give yourself a score.
Anxious. Are you feeling anxious? And what is the rate that you give yourself? Are you feeling sad, tired, joyful? Perhaps you're feeling joyful from 0 to 10. Rate yourself. Hopeful. And lastly, energized. So I hope you were able to name your emotions properly and you were able to give yourselves a score that reflects really how you are feeling at the moment. Huwag kayong hihiya, no? These are positive and negative emotions. It is good to be self-aware, but not to be self-absorbed. Kailangan po nating tanggapin kung saan tayo nanggagaling, and from there, we would see what we will do, kung ano man ang kailangan nating gawin, no? In order to address certain conditions that we are facing. In particular today, we are going to talk about stress. And it's good to be able to first define what stress is. According to psychologytoday.com, stress generally refers to two things. First, the psychological perception of pressure. So yung internal yan, kung anong iniisip at nararamdaman natin. On the one hand, the body's response to it. So, ano yung pagtugon ng ating katawan? Yung physiological, biological state natin. This would involve multiple systems from metabolism to muscles to memory. Tapos meron din pala pong dalawang klaseng stress. There is the positive stress, there's also negative stress. What is the difference between the two? So positive stress can motivate us to achieve our goals. It can push us beyond our comfort zone to make necessary adjustments to help improve our life conditions. For example, for you young people, you know probably that you are artistic, that you are, let's say, good in singing or dancing, but you're not able to really develop these particular talents or you're not able to use them. So you are feeling a bit worried, perhaps, oh, bakit hindi ko nagagamit yung aking talent sa ganitong klaseng form of art, right? Nakikita ko yung ibang mga tao, yung ibang mga kabataan, they're joining ballet schools and they're even performing kahit online at the moment. No? For example, ako, meron po akong napapanood ng mga performances ng mga young ballet dancers. Hindi sila umaalis ng bahay nila, but they're able to show their performances even internationally, right? So you might be watching online these particular videos and recordings of performances of young people and you're saying to yourself, pwede rin naman akong ganyan in my own way, right? Something similar to what this young girl is doing, or this girl is doing, or this boy is doing. And so there's this kind of positive stress that tells you, I could be better than what I am experiencing right now. I could use my talents like these other people I am seeing. So it's not that you exactly want to compare yourselves with them. It's just that you know you could also exert a little more effort and you could improve yourself in terms of your talents and use these talents to glorify God and to help others as well to be better. In short-term situations, stress can help us face serious conditions so we can react more quickly. For example, kung merong sunog sa inyong subdivision at malapit ka sa bahay ninyo, alangan naman nakatingin ka lang dun sa sunog, di ba? Of course, you're going to check if everyone in your family is safe and you're going to warn the people who are sleeping, hoy, gising na kayo, we have to get out of the house. And you gather your valuables, you make sure that the fire department has been called so that they can put out the fire. So you are not going to just stare at what is going on, you're going to act more quickly. So nakakatulong po yung positive stress in this particular case. Or, for example, alam natin there's this COVID crisis. Alangan naman we're going to say, ay, ang COVID na yan, para lang sa mga taong napapanood natin sa TV. Oh, it's not gonna happen to me. There's always this possibility that we could catch COVID. We don't hope that we would actually get COVID, right? But there is that possibility. So you make sure to observe health protocols to protect yourself. And of course, we pray that we will not get sick with COVID. So this is a kind of positive stress that makes us become better persons, that protects us and make sure that we are in the best of conditions, no matter how negative things can be. But there's also negative stress, particularly when a problem is not being addressed long term. So ang nangyayari po, yung stress becomes chronic. It can cause health problems such as insomnia, hindi tayo nakakatulog, no? Heart ailments, high blood pressure, tense muscles, stomach aches, skin irritations, weakened immune system. Kung kunwari meron tayong malubhang problema, tapos hindi na natin inaalagaan yung sarili natin, hindi na tayo kumakain ng maayos, yung resistensya po natin ay humihina. So we are also more prone to catching COVID, for example. Headaches, irritability, lagi na lang masungit, no? May sumpong, depression, you're always locking yourself up in your room and you don't want to talk to other members of the household, anxiety, destructive anger. So, eto na yung kadalasan pinag-uusapan natin na negative stress na nangyayari sa maraming tao, hindi lang naman sa kakaunti, pero marami ang nakakaranas po ito. Now, in particular, what are causes of stress among our young people these days? Number one would be feeling deprived of seeing their teachers and schoolmates in a warm environment. Of course, andyan po yung online learning. You can talk to your friends and to your teachers through Zoom or other apps, right? Pero iba pa rin po kasi talaga yung face-to-face learning and interaction. Many of us, we want to be able to embrace our barkada and the people familiar to us, the people we love, right? And we want to talk to them face-to-face. At saka, iba rin talaga yung nakita natin ng gusto yung kanilang facial expressions. Although we could see these through Zoom and other apps, pero hindi ba alam natin sa Zoom, pag gusto talaga ng isang tao, pwede niyang i-mute muna or pwede niyang alisin muna yung video. So, the interaction is not complete, really. Next would be demands of online learning. So, nakakapagod din po yung laging nakatingin ka sa computer. It could actually strain your eyes. But at the same time, there are limitations. And even if you want to talk to some people longer, depending on the kind of app that you are using, paminsan ay napuputol, di ba? Kasi kailangan mag-upgrade ka pa ng app para mas matagal ang pag-uusap. For example, if you have a support group, no, it's rather difficult to use certain apps. You have to shift to other applications. So maraming mga kailangan matutunan pa in terms of using technology and how to be creative. Paminsan talaga may mga limitations sa mga gusto nating gawin, although we are trying to learn how to tweak technology so that we're not stuck with just one particular pattern of teaching and learning, no? Tapos ang mga parents, syempre, you're also doing your work. Many of us are doing work from home. At the same time, you have to balance with the academic requirements of your children who have to do online learning for now. No? Dati, hinahatid mo sa school, bahala na muna si teacher sa paaralan, and if there's a problem, you're being contacted even if you're in the office. Ngayon, sama-sama kayo sa bahay na using the computer, tapos minsan meron pa pong glitch kasi mahina ang internet connection. Ako, napakalaking problema yan. You're in the middle of, kayong mga estudyante, you're in the middle of your class, biglang there's something wrong with the signal of the internet. Or dahil heavy ang usage, kailangan magbayad ng mas malaki, diba, na bill because of the demands of internet connectivity dahil ang parents nyo ay nagtatrabaho rin kadalasan from home using the internet. Then there would be tension within the home. So kapag sama-sama ng matagal sa loob ng isang lugar, nagkakainitan, di ba? Nagkakasungitan. So sometimes you might feel like exploding and throwing your garbage, your emotional garbage on each other, right? Yung nagkakasawaan, ika nga. Kasi dati, you go your own way in terms of, nasa school mo na ang kids, tapos ang parents, nasa work, so may variety. And then you come home, or you go home from where you are coming from, and dun kayo nakikita ulit sa bahay, right? So may pros and cons yan, pero pwedeng stressful because of the tension. And the within quotation marks, overexposure to one another. Then there would be this feeling of being imprisoned in one setting for 24 hours. We know that you young people are energetic and you like to be active. So if you feel confined in one place, para na rin nasa preso, ika nga, di ba? Feeling imprisoned. Then there's the misuse of social media because of limitations in terms of going out. So we're stuck inside the house. You try to, within quotation marks, go out by exposing yourself online. Ang problema, ang dami naman ding abuses online, di ba? Ang dami nagbabash, ang daming spread ng fake news. And then there are also problems in terms of young people basing their worth on the number of likes in social media. So there are many intricacies rather, when it comes to the use of social media. And there's the good side, but there's also the bad side. Then we speak of health concerns. Because of what COVID is doing to us, we are very sensitive about our health conditions. Magkaroon lang ng konting sipon o lagnat, diba? We are worried that it could be already a symptom, or these could be symptoms of COVID. Tapos, kung meron man tayong ibang health concerns na hindi naman COVID, ay iniiwasan natin na pumunta sa ospital kasi baka doon pa tayo mahawa sa COVID. So there are many worries attached with this COVID crisis. Uncertainty about the future. Kailan ba matatapos ang COVID na ito? Nakakatakot, no? Sometimes you don't want to mention the emotion of fear because you want to be able to focus on faith. However, we would be in denial if we were to say na hindi nakakatakot, because the variants these days tend to be more serious, and there's this tendency to be easily contaminated, right? So, napakadali for us to catch COVID. Kaya andun pa yung uncertainty about when is this going to end? My anxiety and fear at the same time. So, what are signs of negative stress in children and in young people? Number one, difficulty focusing. Well, kung meron namang mga bagay na monotonous, di ba, lalo na yan, na laging nakatingin sa computer or laging nasa loob ng bahay, parang nakaka-agitate, right? But yung difficulty focusing, when you see this very often, and these signs that I'm going to be talking about, when you see these in a consistent manner, specifically for at least 2 weeks, baka yan ay malalim-dalim na uri ng negative stress, no? Yung stress naman po kasi, all of us encounter this. Every day, there's a kind of stress that we have to face. There are demands in life, right? But when the stress is already destroying our peace of mind and it's already affecting our mental, spiritual, and physical health to a great extent, then we would have to address it in a more impactful way. So, isa pong sign ng negative stress ay difficulty focusing. At kung napapansin nyo na madalas na po ito, medyo baka kailangan ng certain interventions. Struggling to relax, even if it's time to sleep, for example, your child has difficulty going to bed, and this happens very often, and for a very long time, such that halos wala na siyang tulog. Hindi naman yung parang excited lang bago matulog. Kasi normal naman yung paminsan may napanood, di ba? Tapos na-stimulate yung kanyang thoughts and emotions. So excited siya, tapos kailangan kumalma lang, normal naman yun. Pero yung gabi-gabi niya lang, hindi nakakatulog ng maayos, then that is negative stress that is becoming chronic. Extreme emotional reactions such as anger or crying, and it's happening very often. Changes in eating habits. Dati, maganang kumain, pero ngayon ay hindi na. Or ngayon naman, sobrang takaw. Now, some people are saying, oh, because of the pandemic, we're concentrating on food, and so maraming tumataba, di ba? Well, to a certain extent, that is acceptable, pero kung sobra naman, no? At you are seeing that there's an imbalance already, and it's even affecting the general sense of wellness of your child, then there's something wrong. Increased refusal to do chores, cooperate with schoolwork at home, or other forms of stubbornness. Yung hindi mo na masabihan ng maayos, no? There is this consistent behavior of rebellion, hindi na nakikinig, no? Yan, isa pong sign din yan ng negative stress. Increased aggression towards caregivers or siblings. So, hindi lang yung nagre-rebelde, mahilig pang makipag-away ng madalas. The emergence of new or re-emergence of old fears. So kung dati yung takot sa dilim, ngayon parang lalo na, no, magnified yung mga takot na yon. May konting sound lang na kalabog ng pusa or ng aso, parang gulat na, no? Depression, when you see that your child is often locking himself or herself up in his or her room, tas ayaw nang makipag-usap sa'yo, sa mga kapatid niya, and this is happening very often, hindi lang yung isang beses o dalawang beses nagtampo, pero parang araw-araw na, then your child might be in depression. Increased need to be physically near a parent or caregiver. Yung bang dati hindi naman hihilig tumabi sa'yo, pero ngayon parang lagi na lang, no? Lagi na lang. And even as you embrace this child of yours, parang minsan nararamdaman mo nanginginig or umiiyak, and this is happening very often. So this is from stress.org, a very reliable website. Now, the question is, how do we manage and overcome stress? I would like to use an acronym for us to easily remember the tips on how to address stress. We can do this with love. Manage and overcome stress with love. L-O-V-E. So L stands for listening. Listening. Authentic listening that leads to genuine communication. Madali pong sabihin na tayo'y nag-uusap at nakikinig sa isa't isa, but this is actually easily said than done. No? So, mas madaling sabihin na ginagawa natin to kaysa actually gawin. Because listening means also that I open my heart to where the other person is coming from, and never to presume that he or she is thinking and feeling in exactly the same way I am thinking and feeling. Because even if we belong to the same family and the same genes are running in our body and the same blood is flowing through our veins, magkakaiba pa rin po tayo. Each person is unique. And so that means I respect every individual in my home and in my household. I will not dictate the feelings of my children. I will respect where they are coming from. We do not always know what to say and how to say things, di ba? Paminsan, mas marunong pa tayong magsalita sa ibang tao when it comes to professional dealings in our career. But when it comes to people we love and we love the most, the people who are very important to us, sometimes it's awkward to communicate with them. sometimes our pride gets in the way, or yung emotional attachment natin sa kanila. Minsan natatakot tayo makinig sa kanila dahil dun sa maririnig nating sasabihin nila, di ba? Sometimes we're not ready to accept what they are going through. I actually encountered a parent like that. Sabi sa akin ng anak, although the son was already grown up, he was already a professional, but he and his mother came to a talk I was giving in a parish, and it was about depression. Now, the mother had a hint that the son was going through something negative, but she was not in full acceptance yet of the fact that he was undergoing depression. Now, it was the son who spoke to me and said, actually, na-realize ko talaga palang clinical depression na itong pinagdaraanan ko, and my mother was not ready to accept that fact or this fact that I am in clinical depression. She's slowly realizing it, but the impact of this truth has not hit her fully yet. No? So sometimes hindi natin alam paano sasabihin ng mga bagay-bagay sa ating mga mahal sa buhay. Sometimes our children don't know how to open up to us, and sometimes they don't know how to say things. They're scared that we would not accept what they are going through actually. Ask about your child's feelings and interests, and this takes a lot of compassion. It takes humility that we cannot always guess what our loved ones are going through. Sometimes we have a hint because we know them. Sometimes we have this intuition na siguro itong may pinagdaraanan, di lang sinasabi sa akin. But we cannot take things for granted. There is no substitute for real, authentic communication. Oh, yan na, stress na, real na authentic pa. Redundant. So, learn to ask questions. Assure your child that you are with him or her, not only physically, but also psychologically, you are present to him or her. When we ask questions, paminsan kailangan din may style, di ba? Minsan hindi natin alam paano ba natin sisimulan. May nararamdaman tayong pinagdaraanan yung mahal natin sa buhay, pero hindi natin exactly alam ano ba ang panimulang sasabihin. Ako po, even if I feel that there's really nothing wrong with the loved one's condition, I start off with something lighter. For example, sa aking pamangkin, when she was still here in the Philippines, she's now abroad studying, I would oftentimes ask her, so what are you busy with these days? What are the videos that you watch online? Could you tell me more about your interests? So I start with something lighter, something very affirming. And then from there, when she's ready to open up about more private matters, I start listening and I try to show her that whatever you want to say to me, I will not judge. I will just be here to listen. Siyempre, bilang mga magulang, kayo po, you're also protective of your children, right? So kung meron kayong marinig na something na negative na pinagdaraanan nila, kayo ay nag-aalala rin para sa kanila. Pero bago pumasok yung pag-aalala, at minsan kasi yung pag-aalala na yun, binabara na agad yung gusto nilang sabihin. Makinig po muna tayo with an open heart. Hindi sa hindi tayo mag-aalala because there are situations where we naturally worry. However, we need to let them speak first and assure them that whatever they're going through, positive or negative man yan emotionally, that we are here for them. Have a feeling board, diba? So we are able to respect each other, that everyone in the house has a particular journey that he or she is going through. And so we allow each person to go through his or her journey with respect on our part for them, and they respecting our journey as well. It might help to have this feeling board, no? Yung gagawa tayo ng mga cards about different feelings. Tapos, we're allowed to post yung particular feeling natin for the day. So you could have this feeling board at we will not judge kung yun man ang nararamdaman ng taong yun. We could even create a space where if a person goes there, that means that he or she wants to speak to a member of the family. How about that? Kasi paminsan we take for granted na magkakilala naman tayo eh. So it means automatically that we are communicating. No, paminsan nga, mas hirap pa tayo mag-communicate with the ones we love and the people we are close to. Have this safe space where we are predispositioned to listen to each other. Make each other feel at home with home. Diba? Kasi bakit noon mas gusto natin or ang iba sa atin na lumalabas kesa na sa loob ng bahay? Aside from the fact that we need to do tasks outside of the home, sometimes we would rather be outside because we feel, within quotation marks, happier sa labas kaysa sa loob. And that means there's something lacking inside the home. Perhaps there's an absence of meaningful interaction. So for example, ang ibang mga kabataan, mas gusto nila kasama nila ang barkada nila kaysa umuwi sa bahay because sometimes they feel, oh, my parents are fighting all the time anyway. Or they're not going to listen to me even if I want to talk to them. Or they're always busy even when they're at home. They don't have time for us. Kung kayo po nanonood nung First Yaya, yung teleserye ng Channel 7, actually kapamilya po ako dahil I was a host of DZMM Teleradyo for 15 years, no? But dahil wala kaming radio franchise ngayon, ako naman ay exposed din sa ibang mga media networks. And I've been watching First Yaya. Nakakatuwa kasi ang dami doon na mga based on real interactions, no? For example, yung pag-complain ng eldest ng presidente na nung nabubuhay pa yung mother niya, ang feeling niya walang panahon yung father niya para sa kanila. Well, understandable naman yun kasi high official of the government ang kanyang father. But what does this say to us? Tatay pa rin siya, kailangan niya ng quality bonding with his children. So kahit po busy ang parents, kailangan pa rin talaga nitong panahon at tamang disposition towards listening to the people we love. That's why it really is not easy. Kasi hindi lagi tayo may panahon makinig at hindi lagi tayo marunong makinig. So L for listening. O would be for opportunities. Ano ba ibig sabihin itong opportunities for our purposes? Opportunities to have bonding time and activities with our loved ones at home. Sabi nga ng aking co-host si Father Nono Alfonso SJ sa Usapang Kapatid sa Teleradyo, if we cannot go out, then let's go inside ourselves. So let's focus on what's here before us. Yung mga kasamahan natin sa bahay, no? Kasi minsan sila pa yung ating nakakaligtaan. We could have activities together like praying together. Kung dati hindi natin ito nagagawa, ito'y panahon para mapaigting natin ang ating panalangin bilang isang pamilya. You could pray together. For example, you could have a Biblia Rasal. Ano ba yung Biblia Rasal? That's based on Biblia, Aral, Asal, Dasal. Come together as a family and do a little research as to how to read the Bible properly. Marami namang pong mga guides online, for example, ng St. Paul's Publications, no? Ng iba pang mga publications, yung kina Bo Sanchez, marami pong mga reflection guides dyan. And what you could do is reflect on the Sunday Gospel, pray together, and share with each other what verse in that Gospel strikes each of you. And then, even as you share, you will also remember an action word that you can apply during the week so that yung inyong pinagdasalan na gospel verses, meron ding application throughout the week, integration into daily life. At the same time, you can read a commentary so that you can better understand what the gospel verses are about. So you can do this as a family, di ba? And you can pray for your own intentions, but also for the other people who are asking for prayers. Alam natin ngayon sa Facebook, napakaraming taong may sakit, namatayan, may pinagdaraanan. So we can spend time in intercessory prayer together. Actually, kulang pa nga ang isang oras para ipagdasal ang ibang tao. Another would be bonding through regular meetings. So pwede kayong magkaroon ng kasunduan sa loob ng bahay. Okay, family, after dinner, 8 o'clock, we're all going to have our meeting to find out how everyone is today, no? Or kung anong nangyari sa bawat isa during the day. Anong naramdaman ninyo? Ano ang mga struggles ninyo, frustrations. If someone wants to have the floor for a longer time, for more than 10 minutes, okay, we will make it a point to listen to this person. So that you are a team in the family, no? And you will include practical steps in facing the crisis. For example, ano ang health condition ng bawat isa? Kailangan bang dagdagan ng iniinom na vitamins or exercise? So have these regular meetings. Play games or watch movies and exercise together. So yung mga fun activities na pwede ninyong gawin na magkakasama. Parents with their children. And hindi laging yung parents na nag-lead. You can ask your children to teach you certain things that you might know, especially when it comes to mga trending topics, technology, di ba? Yung mga uso ngayon na sinusuot, mga pinapanood. Then you can do Zumba together, di ba? Kahit hindi naman magaling sumayaw, but you can exercise together. Help them develop themselves in a holistic way and give them activities to work on. Sa ating mga young people, hindi pwede yung laging salita lang ng salita, di ba? Kailangan merong ginagawa, gumagalaw-galaw. So, for example, yung kanilang mga talents nga, na nakikita mo, ang laki ng potential ng anak mo, na maging good singer. So, marami ngayong mga schools online that can teach your children how to sing better kahit hindi sila lumalabas ng kanilang bahay. Also, you can help them deepen their prayer life kaya holistic way, diba? Spiritually, psychologically, in terms of virtues they can practice and life skills. So hindi lang in terms of technical know-how, hindi lang academics, hindi lang talents, but also in terms of life skills, resilience in time of COVID. Na pwede kayong magkaroon ng games that develop these life skills. Collaborate with school and other formation partners. So even if we are not able to meet up physically with school authorities and other inspiring role models, we could try to get in touch with them online so that we can learn from them and learn with them for other ways to form our young people. Formation partners would include, for example, authors you look up to, or speakers you can learn from. No, so you can contact them, you can also read their articles. I, for example, am in touch with somebody I consider a mentor. I only met him once. His name is Dr. Robert J. Wicks, and he's an international psychologist, psychotherapist, and psychiatrist. He's a papal awardee. I was able to get a hold of his books, and we are in touch through Facebook. So, nagulat ako one time na meron siyang nilagay na comment sa aking post, and it was like a joy for me to be able to hear from him. And so, in a sense, that is collaboration and being in touch with people we admire and we can learn from. Now, what are you as family members learning individually and together? So talk about that, share about these things while you have the opportunity to be together face to face inside the home. And you could also look up certain games that could be played that are educational. For example, I came across this game. It's called Free Rice. It is initiated by the UN World Food Program. It says that it will keep your children entertained, informed, and part of a movement to end world hunger. And the game even has a category called Coronavirus, Know the Facts with simplified information from World Health Organization. So mag-research din po tayo. Ano ba yung mga magagandang mga applications and games that we can use online and even offline, no? Meron din pong mga na-order, kahit online natin in-order, pwede palang mga board games na gagawin at lalaruin sa bahay. No? Just be sure to disinfect them. V would stand for vitality. So this would refer to the call for renewal from within, drawing one another deeper into our relationship with God. Ang call for the times is spirituality versus religiosity. Many of us have been deprived of the opportunity to go to mass physically, lalo na po ang mga senior citizens at maraming mga kabataan, ano? Yung mga above 18, pwede pa. Pero marami po sa mga younger ones have been deprived of this opportunity. But sometimes we might be too attached to physically going to the building called the church that we forget that God is within each one of us. Hindi natin sinasabing kalimutan na natin yung pagpunta sa simbahan. We miss the church, the building called the church. We miss receiving our Lord Jesus sacramentally kasi iba pa rin po talaga yon. However, let's remember that God is within us. A spiritual director of mine reminded me that God is everywhere, but we are the ones who are not always present to Him. And so we have to remind our young people that God is within us. But sometimes we're afraid to approach Him and we don't know what to say to Him. We need to remind our children, our young ones, that God loves us without condition. So whatever we're feeling, all the fear, the anxiety, the stress, we need to open up to Him and He wants to listen to us. But in terms of answering our prayers, well, He does answer our prayers, but sometimes He says no to what we're asking for because it's not necessarily good for us. Sometimes He says, go, I'm going to give exactly what you're asking for. Sometimes He says, let me allow you to grow first in your virtue before I give you exactly what you want. So, yes, God listens to us and answers our prayers, but sometimes He says no, sometimes He says go, sometimes He says grow. And let's remind our young people that if there is someone who loves them the most, walang iba po kung hindi ang Panginoon. With all their quirks, all their pains, insecurities, and rejection experiences. I think we also need to remind ourselves that to respect their sacred space and uniqueness. Na even if sometimes we want to teach God in a certain way to them, that they also have their own pace in understanding God personally in their specific condition and situations. Kasi iba-iba nga po ang tao. So kailangan meron din tayong paggalang doon sa pinagdaraanan ng ating mga kasamahan sa bahay, ng ating mga kabataan, tungkol sa pag-iintindi o pagkakaintindi nila tungkol sa sino ba talaga ang Diyos. It's one thing to know about God. It's another to know God personally. What needs healing in them and even in ourselves? I think this time of COVID asking us to detach from a lot of things. Yes, it's difficult kasi nakasanayan natin yung norm dati na nakikita natin ng mga taong katrabaho natin, mga taong kasama natin sa paaralan, araw-araw na hindi tayo natatakot na we're going to catch COVID and we're asked to stay in the house for long periods of time. Let's make the most out of our situation right now. Ito nga yung going within ourselves. Ano yung mga kailangan, mga sugat ko, even before COVID, na hindi ko pa nahaharap. Sometimes we're not brave enough to face them. And we're so distracted with externals, things going on outside of us, that we neglect the need for deeper healing, perhaps even wounds from childhood. No? Paminsan yung kabataan, yung kasama mo, ay meron palang fear yan from something that happened years ago, no, in relation to her classmate, or maybe another child of yours, yung kanyang sibling, or even with you na hindi nyo napag-usapan ever. Remember to love yourself too. It's important to exercise self-compassion, self-care, healthy self-love, because you cannot give what you do not have. And many times, children follow what they see in their parents. So if they see their parents responding to stress in a negative way, then they could easily follow your, within quotation marks, bad or negative example. But if they see you taking care of yourself too, it doesn't mean that you are leading a perfect life, because you, dear parents, are also undergoing your own stressors, right? You must be going through these difficult experiences, your own feelings of loss and anxiety and uncertainty about the future and finances. But when they see that you are anchoring your faith in God, you are taking care of yourself in many aspects, internally and externally, spiritually, psychologically, health wise, in terms of your conditions of biological conditions, okay, or sicknesses. You are drinking your vitamins, having a healthy diet. You are also trying to expose yourself to vitamin D through sunlight, then they will follow this good example. And if you are also doing your best to earn financially, you are also facing your struggles quite well by the grace of God, then they will feel more assured. So take care of yourself. Remember, when you ride a plane, kapag tinuturo po kung paano ginagamit yung oxygen mask, ano ba yung sinasabi roon? Kapag may emergency, dapat unahin ng parents yung paglagay ng oxygen mask sa kanilang sarili bago nila ilagay yung oxygen mask sa kanilang mga anak. It's the same thing with facing stress. You as parents need to be able to face your own stress by God's grace, taking care of yourself, so that your children will also follow this example. Let them speak to a counselor online if needed. Pag alam ninyong kailangan ninyo ng external help, don't be afraid to approach someone for this. You could tell the school authorities, or the school community might have a counselor ready to listen to your child online. E would be encouragement. And when we speak of encouragement, you affirm their worth, sense of purpose, giftedness, and share in the family theme. So, una-una yung kanilang identity, who they are in the heart and eyes of God. God who loves them without condition. So even if, for example, they encounter itong mga stressors online, kunyari may nakita silang bashing them or saying negative things about them, they will anchor their worth on how God sees them instead of the negative comment they have just read online. that they have a sense of purpose no matter how young they are, that they can pray for other people, even if they might not have lots of savings to help others who are in need during this COVID crisis. You could remind them that they could spend extra time in prayer to pray for their classmates, the families of their schoolmates, their teachers, their principal, the nuns in school, and for others they read about online. Remind them that they are gifted. And even if there are negative things going on around them, that they can still use their gifts for the glory of God and to help other people. And that they can also help inside the home, like, for example, in certain chores, in cooking, in cleaning, in taking care of the plants, that they could also contribute their own thoughts, their own ideas, and suggestions. Help them set SMART goals. Ano po ba yung SMART? S for specific, M measurable, A attainable, result oriented for R, and T would be time bound. It's good to have a schedule within the day and tell them, okay, ang assignment mo para sa araw na ito, aside from yung school assignment mo, this is what you're going to do for our community here at home. And then for school, check on them if they're able to manage their assignments or they might need help from you in terms of tutoring sa math, di ba? Or kung kailangan ng external tutor para gumawa ka po ng paraan para makapag-contact ng isang external tutor who could do it online for your son or your daughter. So SMART goals. Kasi minsan we get overwhelmed with very, very big goals. We don't chop them into little ones. We forget that before we can solve the big problems, we have to go also step by step. So help them set SMART goals and help them set these academically for their schoolwork and also in terms of your relationship with one another at home. Assign tasks or corners in the house for them to take care of so that you also help them channel their energy towards something productive, something fruitful, and something that could help in their own self-development. Have a monthly virtue to practice and reward them creatively. For example, let's say for the month of April, you tell your family, let's focus on the virtue of honesty and let's make it a point to practice honesty in all that we do. The things that we say when it comes to counting our money, of course, clean your hands after counting your money. If you are handling it physically, and reward them creatively. So how can you do that? For example, okay, the person who is able to share the most number of times he or she felt conscious about deliberately practicing honesty for this month, we will purchase for him or her his or her favorite dish. We'll do it online and we will reward this person with his or her favorite kind of food. Okay. Or you might say, all right, for next month, we're going to practice humility. And we are going to ask each member of the family to illustrate. So use one's artistic talents to illustrate how to practice humility. And the person who presents the most impressive illustration about humility and is able to tell a real story about how he or she practiced humility will have a little trophy, a trophy that another member of the family will make. Okay, now we can have a board of judges, and your board of judges would be our relatives from abroad who will look at your works of art online. See? So we can practice creativity in terms of also the way we integrate virtues in life. Challenge them, bring out their creativity in many ways. Gratitude Day. Have also a special day during which all of you will write as many as you can the blessings that you have encountered in the past week. Paramihan na mga blessings na ito. Gratitude is the attitude that will bring us to greater aptitude and altitude. Remember that. Gratitude is the attitude that brings us to greater aptitude and altitude. And reach out to others as a family. For example, these days we have the community pantry. You might not be able to go out and actually buy vegetables, but perhaps you can gather your savings as a family and you donate through GCash and help others by your donations so that they can have food to eat. It might not be through a community pantry, it could be through your parish, it could be through a non governmental organization. Reach out to others as a family, even if your children can only give a few bills or a few coins, it doesn't matter. You are doing it as a family. So, E for encouragement. And so, to be able to manage and face and overcome stress in our young people and in your family, share love. L for listening, O for opportunities, V for vitality, and E for encouragement. Now, I'd like to share this video with you, and I hope that it helps you a lot because I believe that it is very important to try to practice what the guest in this program says. So let's listen to it now.
The pandemic has been especially tough for kids, teenagers, and their parents, but it's the support from parents that can help kids navigate life and the stresses of the year without seeing most of their friends and lacking social connection.
Connection is protection.
Dr. Rita Eichenstein says parents need to be kind to themselves and their kids.
I say that the mental health of children is significantly correlated to the well-being of their parents. But I hope that this allows parents to give yourself some slack, some self-compassion, and to say, you know what, we survived today. It wasn't perfect, but we survived. We are living in a global pandemic. And the word for you type A parents out there is just do the best you can.
Teenagers have it the hardest because they're at a pivotal moment in their lives.
Adolescents are wired to start to separate away from their parents, and that their social group creates their mental well-being. Kids have been robbed of that this year, and they know it. And so there's a lot more anger and feelings of being cheated. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they need social connection. So Instagram and TikTok are not social connection. They are the teens' ways of coping with their lack of social connection.
She says parents can be that connection with a kind and open approach.
Teens do not need you to fix anything. They need you to validate them and empathize and listen to them and feel validated. So try something like this. I can really understand why you're feeling like isolating, why you're feeling angry, why you're feeling depressed.
She says it's not always obvious your child is stressed out or depressed.
It's just putting attention on your child's mental well-being that's so important. So don't mistake a kid being hyperactive for a kid who's feeling good. Now look, they're jumping around, they look happy. Don't mistake it. If you actually speak with them, you might find something different. It might surprise you. And so these kinds of conversations are very important for families. And if they don't want to talk about it, at least they heard you. They heard that you understand. Be that parent that understands. Don't criticize them for being on their phone so much. It's a coping mechanism. We can worry about bad habits later.
And be aware if your child might need to talk to a therapist or a doctor.
Parents tend to veer on one or two extremes. One extreme, oh, it's nothing. Another extreme is, oh, they're faking for attention. I would caution both types of denial. as that. This is parental denial because they don't want to shake up their ship by having to bring one more factor into an already crisis-driven situation in their family.
If you or anyone in your family are struggling, there is lots of help available. Call 211 on your phone. The pandemic has been a
Okay, so I hope that that video has helped you a lot. And I believe that the key is to be present not only physically to one another, but spiritually and psychologically as well. And this takes really compassion on the part of each member of the family, especially parents towards their children. Now, I'd like to leave with you some questions to reflect on. Number one, how is our family doing right now? So try to see and examine what are the feelings going on in your family, collectively and individually. Number two, what are the main challenges we are facing at the moment? So don't be afraid to write these down and to talk about it. Number three, what are we concretely doing as number one, individuals? Because remember, your family team is made up of individuals. Even though you might have the same surname, you're living in the same house, each person has a unique process he or she is facing and treading. So, number two, as a family, to address these challenges proactively. What are we concretely doing as individuals and as a family to address these challenges proactively? And number four, how is God helping us to face and overcome stressful experiences? The faith factor is very important in stress situations and stressful situations. How is God helping us to face and overcome stressful experiences? And together, as a family, we pray, teach us, Lord, to listen with love to each other, to trust in your grace, to come out better and stronger. We pray as a family, teach us, Lord, to listen with love to each other, to trust in your grace, to come out better and stronger. So, dear St. Mary's College of May Kawayan, Bulacan, I pray that you will all be blessed and protected by God. Keep safe, and thank you for this opportunity to share with you ways by which we can help our youth deal with stress. This has been Ilsa Reyes. Thank you very much.
Basta tayo'y magkasama, laging mayroong umaga, kay ganda, pagsikat ng araw, may dalang liwanag sa ating pangarap. Haharapin
Good day to all. Praise be Jesus and Mary. I am Ms. Serena M. Sofia, Human Resource Head and Research Coordinator of St. Mary's College of Maykawayan. Today, I would like to share with you the journey of St. Mary's College of Maykawayan as it plans to establish a formal venue for both students and teachers, where they will not only embrace research culture, but they will understand that research will benefit many, most especially our society. Allow me to introduce today research at SMCM, hashtag WeCare. Research endeavors had been evident in SMCM for years now, but with the changes in the curriculum, most especially the implementation of the K-12 and the offering of the special science classes. Research expanded its reach. Thus, the journey started through an immersion project at the University of the Immaculate Conception, Davao City. Through the initiative of the late school president, Sister Maria Yolanda Reyes, RVM, an academic quest was conducted at UIC with the approval of its president, Sister Maria Marisa Viri, RVM. I was tasked to stay for several months in Davao City, observe how their processes are being run, and how to adopt all the best practices possible. In the field of research, I was able to be under the tutelage of the research director, Dr. Renan Limbuco of the UIC Research, Publication, and Innovation Center. And the journey started from knowing nothing. I need to learn something because in the end, there is a need to apply everything at SMCM. Of course, we need to look into the possible threats. One, the readiness of the entire institution for the research enculturation. Second, appropriate linkages and collaborations. And third, sufficiency in terms of resources and research training program. From there, we dive into all the processes. The immersion for several months is a series of observations, long hours of sitting down to ethics review, oral defense, and attendance to one training to another. Those research opportunities in Davao showed a full glimpse on how research benefits not only the institution, but most especially the students. We decided to embark ourselves in a mission that research will be more evident. Research is not only a subject, it will be our new culture. We need to open our hearts to research, not only because it's the latest trend, but it will allow the students to explore and discover more through valid data. We often ask, how are you doing? And how are we doing? So we began to develop one tool after another. We take note of all your comments, suggestions, and recommendations. All your feedbacks are taken as relevant information. We transform your words to data so that we can analyze and study them, to transform and continue to evolve. Through our engagement in research, your voices are translated to educational innovations. This is the best example of research output, an instructional delivery system that challenges the threat and changes of the new education landscape. The development of modules and other online services of the package encompass the contribution of every SMCM personnel in research, specifically instructional materials development. Research indeed targets the production of new knowledge and encouraging innovations. The students immerse themselves as well in science and research presentations, reaching other institutions as well, both public and private, to join research presentations. Research as a subject is intensified, most especially in the special science classes and at senior high school. Students are exposed to varied in and off-campus science expos and research congress. The students' and teachers' research outputs are published in the official research publication of the school, the Marian Research Journal. To expand our growth and establish linkages, administrators continue to attend local and international conferences, like Mr. Michael Bott is here, who attended the Research Forum in Hong Kong and varied multidisciplinary research conferences. To complete my immersion project, I also attended an international research conference in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And Mrs. Anna Michelle Recalde presented the paper at DLSU International Multidisciplinary Research Conference. At present, Mrs. Recalde and I are participating in the 2021 International Conference on Educational Technology in Beijing, China. She will present this paper for publication, and the title is The Impression on the Effectiveness of the Distance Education Package, the SMCM at Home of St. Mary's College of May Kawayan. This had been our journey, and we will continue to explore on several research endeavors in the future. We will continue to raise the bar and trailblaze new processes and ideas. We hope that as we reinvent, your children is part of the reinvention. We will hone the skills of your children, both in writing and speaking, as research exposes them through that. Beginning school year 2021-2022, you will see your children creating more research outputs, maximizing the vast knowledge provided online and through the internet, producing their own discoveries and breakthroughs. Research will provide your children with more opportunities. They need to be more prepared to the real world and to all the expectations of the new normal. Research is not easy, but will always be relevant. With your help as well and the participation of all, let us all together explore more new normal changes and instill not only research culture, but most especially research excellence. The jump start of the new SMCM Research Center will begin, and it will be known as the Center for Academic Research and Innovations. May this quest achieve what SMCM always wanted for its students, that Ignatian Marians will not only learn more, but they will learn best. They will not imitate, but discover and unravel something new. And with research, they will see more, they will help others more, and by writing more, they will leave a legacy that they can be proud of. Thank you so much, and always remember that at SMCM, hashtag we always care. Thank you and God bless.
Basta tayo'y magkasama, laging mayroong umaga, kay ganda, pagsikat ng araw, may dalang liwanag sa ating pangarap. Haharapin natin
Around the world, the Virtual Robotics Toolkit is being used for competitive and classroom robotics. Major learning advantages have been experienced by teachers and students when using our simulator to enhance their robotics activities. Learn and practice robotics fundamentals, such as coding, early mechanical engineering, and creative problem solving. Just like pilots use flight simulators before getting into a plane, students can learn in larger groups with the VRT before working with a physical robot. Designed to enhance the LEGO Mindstorms experience, our high-quality graphics are comparable to real-life programming scenarios and accurately represent the robot's physical challenges. Due to the simulator's accuracy and overall ease of use, the competitive robotics world has embraced the VRT as a vital tool for the off-season, considering how many students around the world love robotics and how important the associated skills are to their educational development. It's possible that simulated competitions could soon be the next level of international competitive robotics.
Introducing the Virtual Robotics Toolkit, a powerful new simulation tool that lets you design, build, and program a virtual LEGO Mindstorms robot. The Virtual Robotics Toolkit allows users to build and import their own 3D models from existing CAD tools like LEGO Digital Designer. The software then connects seamlessly to the LEGO Mindstorms programming environment, allowing users to control their digital creation using the exact same tools they would use to program the real thing. With support for a wide variety of sensors, a rich data logging toolset, and visualizations, you can get detailed insight into what your robot is doing. A sophisticated physics engine provides you with a lifelike experience. The Virtual Robotics Toolkit is an invaluable resource to any robotics team looking to get the leg up over the competition. This year's 2015 FLL season is all about handling trash. Trash collection, sorting, intuitive production, and recycling are just some of the tasks that your robot will have to perform. The Virtual Robotics Toolkit simulates the entire FLL experience in a way that makes you feel as if you're solving the challenge in real life. From pushing the truck to collect recyclables to composting garbage, the Virtual Robotics Toolkit stays true to the real-life experience of a physical mat. Whether you're new to the first LEGO League or a battle-hardened veteran, the Virtual Robotics Toolkit is an essential tool that lets teams hone the strategy, engineering, and programming skills needed to not only survive, but thrive in any challenge environment. With an infinite number of bricks at your disposal, where will your imagination take you?
Basta tayo'y magkasama, laging mayroong umaga, kay ganda, pagsikat ng araw.